Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel IAS Primers, and you're watching the key information about the PM Cares Fund. So this topic is designed for UPSC Civil Services. It entails all the information that is required by an aspirant. But even for someone who is looking at general awareness, this video is going to be of immense help. So let's get started. So first is the basic information about the PM Cares Fund. We remember that it was last year basically, so it was in 2020 that Prime Minister Modi, Narendra Modi, decided to launch a new fund known as the PM Cares Fund. So it was in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now naturally the scale of the crisis that it presented was much larger. The economy was locked down, the entire country was locked down, so naturally the economy was locked down. Then we had shortage of healthcare facilities. We had shortage of critical requirements like testing kits, PPE. So for cater to all those finance related things, the government created a fund known as the PM Cares Fund, which was not taking the finances or the budgetary support of the government, but instead it was taking voluntary donations from the people. And private sector also, and also foreign donations. So for prelims, one fact you have that foreign donations are eligible under the PM Cares Fund. Okay. So it is a public charitable trust under the name of Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund. So this is the full form of the PM Cares. So this was established under the Registration Act 1908. This means, this thing is particularly important for prelims. It means that it is not created by a law of the parliament or the state legislature. Rather, it is created as a society. So it is created as a society under the Registration Act 1908. So it's more like a voluntary organization. Now, to say that it is not created by a law of the parliament, it means that it is not answerable to the parliament or any legislature. Like any other institution, they are answerable in the parliament, but this one is not. Now, coming to the constitution of the trust, that is the people who are controlling or managing the Prime Minister Cares Fund. Naturally, it is first comes the chairman. So Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the PM Cares Fund. I think this should be amply clear given that it is titled as the PM Cares Fund. And apart from that, there is Defense Minister, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Finance, and Government of India are ex officio trustees of the fund. Fine. So Defense, Home and Finance. The chairperson of the Board of Trustees, that is the Prime Minister, shall have the power to nominate 3 trustees to the Board of Trustees who shall be eminent person in the field of research, health, science, social work, law, public administration and philanthropy. So it not only includes the executives, the higher political executive, but it also includes eminent people. People who have eminence in the field of research, health, all of those are also part of the PM Cares Fund. Obviously, some specialized knowledge is required in managing the fund. And apart from that, any person can be nominated on a pro bono capacity. Pro bono means charity, donation, philanthropy, like that. So in that capacity, any other person can also be nominated. Now, other details about the PM Cares Fund. Well, we know that it is based on voluntary organizations, voluntary contributions of the organizations and individuals, and therefore it does not get any budgetary support. So no budgetary support is given. So it doesn't require the sanction of the parliament to function. Parliament, for all other institutions, the parliament sanctions money or sanctions certain budget. But in the case of PM Cares Fund, the government as such is not providing any money. Then the donations given to the PM Cares Fund, they will be exempted from the income tax. So there is benefit under 80G benefits. So 100% exemptions are given under the Income Tax Act 1961. And apart from that, the donations given to the PM Cares Fund will go as corporate social responsibility. So even the companies like Airtel, Reliance, all those companies, they can transfer their, they have to spend 2% of their income in the form of CSR. So this they can give it to the PM Cares Fund, considering the nature of the pandemic. So they will be given this concession. And also the PM Cares Fund has exemptions from the FCRA Act, Foreign Contributions Regulation Act. So basically this law is basically created for NGOs and civil society who receive donations from the foreign countries, individuals, etc. There is a concern that the money can be given to the civil society, and this may be misused against the national interest. But in the case of PM Cares Fund, given the nature of the crisis, the exemption has been given under the FCRA, and a separate account for receiving foreign donations has been opened. Now coming to the concerns associated with the PM Cares Fund. First one is lack of transparency. An interesting observation about the PM Cares Fund is that it is called a government fund by the central government, but on the other hand, the fund documents are classified as private trust. This implies there is lack of oversight of the CAG, RTI and the Parliament. So let us see some instances over here. Somebody filed an RTI, Right to Information Act. Now, given that PM Cares Fund is being controlled by the Prime Minister, a political executive, then the money has been given to the district magistrates. So naturally it is functioning as even if it is registered as a private trust, it is functioning as a public property. It has donations of the people. There is exemptions under the ATG Act, Income Tax Act. So it is acting as a public institution for all practical reasons. So many Supreme Court rulings are there which says that in such cases, the institution may be deemed as a public institution. However, when somebody filed an RTI, right, with respect to the PM Cares Fund, it was denied, citing that the PM Cares Fund is not a public authority under the ambit of Section 2H of the RTI Act. Section 2 basically defines which institutions are under the RTI obligation. So this says that it is not a public authority, basically meaning that the government does not have ample control over the institution of PM Cares Fund, and this is the meaning of it, and therefore it should not be liable with respect to the RTI Act. So two RTIs famously were submitted, but the government had denied it on the grounds of Section 2H of the RTI Act. It was for both the RTIs. Now, apart from that, the PM Cares Fund is not subjected to the CAG audits. The CAG audit is basically a mechanism in the entire government, basically all the government institutions. Whatever spending has been done by them, they get some budget. So whatever spending has been done at the end of the financial year, everything is audited by a neutral constitutional body. And then after the audit, the report is given to the president, who ultimately gives it to the parliament. And then the parliament asks tough questions to the government. So this creates a mechanism of more transparency, and it also creates a mechanism of it supports parliamentary democracy, because in a parliamentary democracy the legislature has awareness about what the executive is doing, and therefore it can ask them questions. In fact, many scams, like all the scams that we have, right, 2G scam we have, then we have the coal scam, all of them were a result of the CAG reports. But with respect to the PM Cares Fund, which is for all practical reasons being controlled and governed by the government, is not subjected to the CAG audit. So this is what the government had said. Since it is a public charitable trust with voluntary donations and does not receive any government support, no CAG audit is required. But it does not mention that it is being controlled by the government itself, right? Who's the ex officio chairman of the PM Cares Fund? And then this money is going to the DM and all those people, so they are all part of the government. Next is the PM Cares Fund was on response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But interestingly, there are already institutions to maintain such, to handle such contingencies. There is this Prime Minister's National Relief Fund. You must have heard about it. PM National Relief Fund. Then there is National Disaster Relief Fund, NDRF, and likewise for the states also. So there is a CM fund, there is a state fund also. So there is pre-existence of related organizations. The PM Fund, National Relief Fund, was basically created for the migrants who were displaced people from Pakistan. So during partition, people were affected, to give them support. After that, the fund, the PM Relief Fund, is basically given for those people who are affected by natural calamities, mostly for natural calamities like cyclones, floods, earthquakes, etc. And this fund, PM National Relief Fund, it is subjected to the RTI, it is subjected to the CAG. But a new fund, PM Cares Fund, it's right, fine, it's required for the COVID-19, a dedicated thing was required, but why is it not subjected to the this RTI, CAG, all the texts that are available? So this is a big question mark when it comes to the PM Cares Fund. Then there are allegations on cronyism and favoritism in spending. So, these are all news clippings, by the way. These are all news clippings. Okay. Now, allegations on cronyism and favoritism in spending. Mostly who says that? Congress and the states in opposition, right? Since there is lack of transparency, there is obvious a scope of raising questions about the usage of the funds. Okay. So this is there. Then there were concerns with respect to the ventilators that were there. So many of them ventilators are said to be substandard in nature. So PM Cares Fund, there are a lot of concerns about it. For example, it was not able to, with respect to ventilators, there was a concern. Then there was concern with respect to giving support to the migrant workers who were displaced by the lockdown. So these are the labor class, and they were not supported at that time. And by the time the support came, it was too little, too late. And even when the spending has to be done with respect to PM Cares Fund, for example, in the case of ventilators, no tenders were given. Government basically writes that these are our requirements, and then it asks people to come forward and present their bids. So there is a competitive bidding that takes place. But in this case, maybe because of short scarcity of time, the nature of urgency that was there, this has not been done. So again, there is obviously, when this doesn't take place, maybe well-intentioned, there are always going to be allegations on cronyism and favoritism in spending. So some suggestions with respect to the PM Cares Fund. Naturally, there is a need to promote transparency and accountability. So transparency and accountability needs to be encouraged. More information needs to be in public domain, right? And people need not be required to go to the web, ask the government, go to the media, file RTIs. All those things should also not be there. Things should be there on the website itself, and that should be the policy of the government. Then the PM Cares Fund, as we know, as I said earlier, it's basically the political executive, and the political executive is which party? One single party, right? In present case, it is the BJP. Why can't there be a much wider representation? Considering the nature of problem that is there is a need for a multi-party system, a multi-party representation basically, where much wider representation is there. I may give you one example in this context. GST Council. So GST Council has representation of the center, so central ministers, bureaucrats, plus it has representation of the states. But in the case of PM Cares Fund, there is representation of only the central executive, certain members of central executive. So it should be multi-party, and there should be multi-stakeholder representation. And one thing that can be done is that the PM Cares Fund can be merged with the existing Prime Minister's National Relief Fund. So that can also be done, since this system was already established, it was already functioning well. Why not have this only? Why have two parallels, So this could be avoided. So this is all we have with respect to the PM Cares Fund. Thank you for streaming into this video. You're watching IAS Primus. All the best.